hair, my two best friends, Sarah and Rebecca, walked over to me. I waited for them to compliment my fancy dress, but instead they just looked at me dumbfounded. "You look like a baby," Sarah said. She was wearing a gray sweater tucked into a leather miniskirt, her hair in a half pony that looked like a chignon purchased in the sale aisle at Duane Reade. Rebecca, donning a similar hairstyle, concurred, and my ego fell to the ground. They were right, I did look like a baby. I guess that's the thing about age-appropriate dressing. It's inappropriate. There was no way Kevin would care about my dress. How could I have been so silly? A feeling foreign to me at the time, self-consciousness, reared its vicious head. For the rest of the day, I did everything I could to cover the dress. I took my jacket out of my cubby and put it back on. They made fun of me. I got hot, so I took it off and put it around my waist. They made fun of that, too. This was a no-win situation. I looked at the clock around 11:50 a.m., fretfully dreading what would happen in 10 minutes when recess would start and I would have no choice but to face my friends again. Normally, during recess, Rebecca, Sarah, and I would play house with Kevin. They had crushes on him too, but I was almost certain mine predated theirs and as such was much stronger. Kevin always played the dad, and the three of us, or rather the two of them, would fight almost every day over who got to play the mom. I wanted to be the mom too, but I'm a lover, not a fighter, so I typically took the role of child to avoid conflict. By then I knew that on this day the girls would unquestionably liken my outfit to the role anyway. I already felt the lump in my throat signaling the imminent cry of defeat. I was trying to prepare myself when Sarah said it. "You have to play the baby because you're dressed up as one already." I wasn't all that confrontational and thus allowed the following series of events to unfold as they would, with me sitting in a corner while they fought over who should be the mother and why. "I'm the oldest," Sarah said. "So, my mom said I'm going to be the best mom there is. I know how to cook vegetables," Rebecca retorted. The kitchen in our game was Fisher-Price, for heaven's sake. I put my head down, though still paying distinct attention to their ridiculous squabble, when I saw a set of knees clad in khaki slacks bend and land directly adjacent to my own. I looked up and there he was, a rash-free Kevin. He moved from in front of me to directly next to me, and I felt his scaly hand clench mine. The world stopped. I couldn't offer much attention to how coarse and unpleasant his grasp felt because my heart was beating so damn fast that I had to wonder if it might explode out of my chest. I was almost certain that I was seconds away from peeing in my pants. Sarah and Rebecca stopped arguing to acknowledge our budding romance, and as they looked over, unquestionable rage in their eyes, he kissed me on the cheek. Now I was certain I had peed in my pants, but I was too busy becoming a woman superior to both Sarah and Rebecca in spite of my childish dress to attend to that situation. We never ended up playing house that day, but it was clear that in matters of who got to play whom, I was most definitely the mom. "How did it feel?" Sarah asked amicably, as though she hadn't just hours before stabbed my pride in the heart. "You're so lucky," Rebecca added. "I know," I agreed. My aversion toward modesty struck again, if only for 20 minutes, before both Sarah and Rebecca resumed their native positions as evil best friends and plagued me with cooties. For the rest of recess, my entire class, led by my two best friends, sang, "Leandra has cooties, Leandra has cooties." It was debilitating, really. At afternoon snack time, a few hours after Kevin had kissed me, Sarah asked why he did it. Who does that? And Sarah had no problem sharing the details of a private conversation she'd held with Kevin and his friends. Apparently, his friends had dared him to kiss me when they saw me sitting in a corner, the tulle on the inside of my dress creating a thick, poofy puddle around me. He wanted to give her cooties. Kevin's idiotic friend Zachary had chimed in. Sarah and Rebecca didn't talk to me for the rest of the day, and though my morale was now a bit lower and I was almost certain that the stress and abandonment had caused a rash to break out on my forearms, I didn't blame the yet unfolding disaster on Kevin. Whether or not the kiss had been sincere, it was the most magical lip-to-cheek interaction I had ever encountered. And also the only, unless we're cataloging parental affection. I didn't blame it on my friends either. No, if anyone was to blame, it was my dress. When I got home that day, I ran to my bedroom, ripped the dress off my body, and proceeded to stomp all over it, wearing only my white wool tights and navy blue patent leather Mary Jane flats. Hysterical, I explained to my mother that I never wanted to dress like a baby again. That puddle of tulle that elicited the kiss offered up a generous serving of fresh squeezed humiliation. Why hadn't I just worn a white turtleneck and riding pants? My mom looked confused and even hurt. It had been not even 24 hours since I'd begged her to let me wear that dress. But before we could resolve my despair, she noticed the unusual red blotches on my limbs. "What's on your hands?" she interrupted my fit to ask, as the rash had quite visibly spread.